Rice, so the ace down early, and with it, the main hard breaching of this team. An unfortunate loss in the early round scenario there. So not that there's a huge hard breach defense on this site, but it's one you could do without, and what a shot by old center there. He's doing some work holding those stairs as Mira.
This time around, SBL walk into OSIRIS exactly where they're expecting him, and they get punished as a result. One kill thus far for anyone on the attacking side. That's Nick. He'll also manage to duck back out just in time to evade the C4 that tried to snag a kill onto him from below. So, just 2-on-4 for the remaining attackers. Is Surf somehow able to jump in the window, though he might get caught out by center. Actually, a battle of the brothers a la Handy and Nade from the SI Grand Final, as Surf and Center are in the same house right now, and it's Center who dies, Surf who gets the better of him, and now we're bringing it all the closer for SBL. They're only one player down, trying to progress towards the objective. OSIRIS kind of being trapped a little bit. They're kind of on the back foot. Nick's able to get another kill. So down goes Brios. Good swing from BJL, though. It's going to leave it only to Surf, and Twist has a very nice angle and a 1.5 scope. Not an engagement. The Frost is going to lose. SBL win round number 2. Or no, OSIRIS do.
Yes, OSIRIS, and it's an interesting defense there from them, because that kind of hyper aggression is obviously not in play right there, right? But what they do is they do a really good job of predicting when they should kind of make their swings. It's a weird thing to, I don't even know if there's a specific term for it. There might be, but they seem to know exactly when to like swing on someone. You look at particularly the hold on the stairs there by Center, who just seems to have an uncanny knack of, hey, like, I hear footsteps or I see movement, somehow just swings and takes a guy out when they're kind of in the open and caught in a vulnerable rotation. And that, I think, served OSIRIS very well with multiple members of their team across that map. Meanwhile, SBL, I'm not sure what the huge shift was there between the previous round and this one in terms of why they didn't find as much success. But it did feel a little bit more, I would say, overall disjointed as an attack, Happy. I felt like they weren't quite as incisive. They weren't quite as together when they were making some of their pushes there, especially the opening part of the round. At the tail end, when it was kind of already too little too late, it felt like they cleaned up their act a bit, but yeah, as I said, it wasn't going to salvage them at that point.
Well, they're going back to a bomb site they know quite well, but this not a situation they're familiar with on this bomb site, as Twist able to get the better of Surf to start off round number 3. They put a bounty on his head, Center did at least, after dying to his brother in the round just before, as nobody can understand the brotherly rivalry that I'm sure exists there, other than, again, FaZe Handy and W7M's Nade, but still. Not a good start for SBL, as you lose your Capital very early on. That's some very good util that you could have had much later. Instead, now, you don't have that to work with for the rest of the round. Still a similar strategy, though, from SBL as to what they did the first time they attacked this site.
Well, what a power position, by the way, you got. Your Doc playing here, located in this spot, capable of denying both Solarium and Bathroom, and covering the stairs up to Solarium. Just brutal all around. I actually really love that position, and some good staying power there from the Doc as well. I was going to say, these first two rounds, you know, seeing early kills go the way of OSIRIS, which was one of their key sort of advantages that they had in their earlier matchup today against Outlast, was they were consistently getting opening kills, sometimes 2 opening kills at the same time, and it was forcing their opponents to play from unfavorable positions from the start, and that seems to kind of be translating here in round 3, because BJL will pick up a kill. And as much as I love to talk about the power position, it doesn't do Center any good, but fortunately BJL is there to even it back up. Poison comes swinging in, rushing forward to throw the flash. Hopefully they can drop their target. No, he's twitching too much. He can't bring the gun sight down.
Eventually, though, Poison brought down, only left to Nick. 1v3 now that he was able to get that kill on Twist, but likely to be an anticlimactic end to the round. That's pretty climactic. I would say I'm safely kind of satisfied by the way that ended, as BJL jumps out the window, jumps off the balcony, and jumps his team up to a 2-1 lead.
It's different. It's different. Just leaping off the balcony right there, or the roof
Yeah.
to get that kill with the SMG-11. Sure, that's a style point. We'll give it to you. I don't know if the style point guarantees you a win, but you did win the round already. So a little cherry on top. As we go over
Defenders,
to
protect
master
your bombs
bedroom and
from being
office, which
used by
continues to be a
attackers.
site that I despise. Happy, I just don't like it.
Mhm.
I think it's really hard to defend. I don't necessarily think that makes it the best or the worst choice per se, but it is just a site that I have never been able to get comfortable with. And I always find it to be a very open and easily attacked site.
Mhm. Well, safe to say that a lot of people do agree with you. There are plenty of people who don't have this one in their rotation
10
at
seconds to
all.
insertion.
No,
But Osiris, yeah, well, I mean, there are
5
plenty of
seconds
people who
remaining.
don't have it. Some people would like the basic more. Some people hate this site, just like you. So,
Attackers
yeah,
moving
exactly.
out to locate a bomb.
But yeah, Osiris choosing to run it. Granted, only as their tertiary site, so it's clearly not like a favorite of theirs. And if all goes according to
No.
plan and they win this round, they heard you surely melee that. They didn't, apparently, but still everyone makes it out of spawn unscathed. And so, Nick not going to take a lick of damage, and now it's just that phantom pressure of we have to check if somebody's inside of games. Fortunately, nobody there anymore, and we will be able to progress with the round as we had planned. As SBL did plan on going for some garage control, but BJL down here looking to intercept anybody who tries to enter through that very direction. In the process of running through, though, he's going to take a couple drones with him and try and look for a life on top of it, but he gets too greedy, and Surf doesn't even lose a bit of HP in the process of dealing with BJL. 7 and 2, first one to die.
Curious to see what Poison's plan is with this Montane, because we haven't really so far seen the Montane in action. I'm not actually exactly sure where the Montane is. Twist is forced to fall back right there, so their position being voided there by the Roteros. That's going to open up this library hallway, and here we go. Here comes Poison. Though certainly he's having a little bit of a hard time. Those castle barricades effectively
Attackers have
blocking
located
him
a
out,
bomb.
and he almost thinks about having to resort to the good old-fashioned punch your way through. But with these floor holes, this defense has really effectively trapped him in library in a very double plus not good position right there that he's going to have to find a way out of. And I think the only way he's going to slip that net, Happy, is if some of his teammates get involved here and bail him out.
Not to mention, Sneeze is underneath that library at the moment, so he's gonna have to get
Oh.
aggressive, and with a dig no-scope, he's able to get one kill. Surf eventually trades him, but Twist is also taking down Nick upstairs, meaning it's only the big shield and one gun to assist him. That's Surf with the C8 SFW. And it's not going to be a very easy situation for these two to win out of. Still, a castle barricade on center for some reason, and he's decided to use it quite effectively, I would say, to get rid of that ability to play off that fluke balcony. And just like that, he's decided to also get rid of both of his opponents. Down goes Surf, and down goes Poison, one after the other, and a third round in a row for Osiris.
Yeah, center holding strong right there and just cleaning up those kills. I mean, you did get the feeling that once it was just the Montane with only limited support, right, that things had already kind of spiraled out of control. The Montane pick, I mentioned it in round and I'll mention it again here because I just don't really know, Happy, what its purpose was in that lineup. I mean, I guess I get
Attackers need
that's
to
not true.
locate and
I got what its
defuse
purpose
bombs
was.
if they can.
I should be giving credit to Osiris for having a defensive
Discover the
setup that
location
essentially
of a bomb.
rendered its purpose moot, right? Montane, you send him in because you want to be disruptive and you want to gather intel, right? He's a frontline intelligence gathering operator because he sets his shield up and he can tell you where everybody is and he's a pain to deal with. The way that they have that set up having at a library, though, they could never get the Montane into position through those footholds. He can't tell you where anybody is. And it absolutely stifled the whole angle of attack here for SBL. It's going to be a little frustrating for Poison, too, because, I mean, he's the one who has to make calls and stuff. And if he just doesn't have a accurate picture of the quote-unquote battlefield, such as it is, he can't make the best calls.
Attackers are heading out
Anyway.
to defuse a bomb.
They're setting up here for round 5. They are loving their drone ops because now Rice is over on the oh wow, never mind. He got a kill early on too on the Twitch. He's got a
Wow.
Twitch with the DMR, and he picks up an early headshot onto Brios, who I'm assuming was going for some sort of spawn peek. as we see Sneeze is, I think, looking for a run out right there.
Yeah, he's got the Valk cam on the side of the window to try and get whatever info outside he can, now that they've, you know, removed the ability to throw your Valk cameras outside. You gotta try and take whatever intel outside the building you can get, whatever methods to get it that you can get as well. Twist loses the next bit of HP. He'll dish them out to Rice as well, but definitely not a fair trade. Wow, his teammates on that camera really wanted him to know there was a drone there, but still, gonna shoot that out and then not really make much of a difference. OSIRIS still down one player as SBL just trying to progress into the building, but they're very delayed in doing so. They're aware that OSIRIS are getting super uber aggressive at the start of this round. And I don't think it's expected. Finally looked at though. They know he's here. I don't think this should be a very effective.
Well, the first EDD ping going out right there, or first Lion ping going out right there, I should say, giving them not too much intel. A close-up gunfight there between Asian will win that out. So 3v5 now as the space just continues to get eaten up here by the attackers. And this is getting into be a bit of a classic scenario, right? Defenders losing more and more ground. The next position that I think is going to have to be wheedled out here is Twist, right?
Oh,
and I think he will just have lost that black mirror behind him, so that make his role here far more difficult. As you see a great reverse rappel angle from Surf to find Twist. You love to see it. Really well played. Twist had no idea. Good use of intel and gadgets there to make that kill combined, and Surf will get another one from the upside down rappel. You shouldn't be giving those away, honestly. You know your teammate just died there. And then Nick, coming down off the library stairs, picks up one more, and a systematic dismantle of the defense there by SLB or SBL.
Force a habit, CLB, SBL, pretty close. It happened. But yeah, that's we saw that last map. Those rounds just kind of happen to OSIRIS sometimes. They're a great team. By no means are they a bad team. But some rounds, they just fall flat. They try and get really aggressive at the start. They lose one or two early kills. And then from there, it just snowballs in the other team favor. OSIRIS are continually trying to refrag their teammates. And it comes from a good place, right? It comes because you want to being stuck at a man disadvantage and just waiting for them to execute it, to try and do something actively to catch them off guard and try and bring that back to even or as close to it as you can. However, they're just kind of grasping at straws for because SBL weren't giving them ways in, and that was exactly what the position that SBL had been waiting to be in since pretty much round one, where they get the opening pick and then another one, and then they're confidently able to move in throughout the map while keeping their guns up, same way they would do that against Temper White. They kept their guns up. They were ready for any re-aggresses once they got the opening pick or two. SBL are very comfortable when they find the first kill. The hard part is, though, you gotta get the first kill, and that's really hard against a team like OSIRIS to do consistently.
Right, and you saw in that last round too, the opening kill went the way of SBL and they won the round. And I don't think we have quite enough evidence to say that it's, you know, if you get the first kill, you're bound to win sort of match.
Yeah.
But there's no way it's not gonna, you know, there's no way it's gonna hurt you to pick up the first kill, right? BJL here playing the Solus, by the way, holding down on the basement stairs, kind of playing an off angle there with the potential to scan, provide both intel to the team and to themselves. You've also got one player still over in pool. I believe that's the Valkyrie. It is. Here's the attempted run out. Sneezes in. There's nobody there. Oh, a waste of life. Oh, that's rough. Poison just picks up Sneeze, shoots him in the back. Sneeze misread that. I don't know if they thought Asian was up there or what had happened. But Asian's going to do a solid to OSIRIS and walk through, and then BJL vaults over the line and gets Rice there as well. And BJL doing some big work to drag OSIRIS back into this round.
I mean, drag them back in is kind of a nice way to put it. Maybe not the nicest to some of his teammates, but when OSIRIS had been playing well, BJL has been getting at least into the mix to a degree. He had 7 kills after 4 rounds. Last round, he was shut down very first off, and then nothing really happened. This round, he's back alive. He gets 2 kills. They're back in an advantage. I would hedge my bets on OSIRIS to win this game if I were a betting man. I'm not necessarily a betting man, and I don't think there's a way to bet on Tier 3 Rainbow Six Siege. But if there were, you'd probably want to suggest that OSIRIS are going to win this because they're still in pretty solid position. Also, they've uncharacteristically fallen back quite far. Brio's not expected in that corner. Nick's going to take that kill, and it goes from bad to worse for SBL.
It does.
Oh,
Good
wait a minute.
effort right there. Poison and Surf both combining to get 2 kills. And that'll open this back up just a little bit. Surf's going to start opening up the floor. Speaking of putting these defenders below in a really difficult position, Twist is forced to rotate to a different spot here. Now has to play this whole Peaksy game from below. More shots coming out of the lifeline launcher right there. Twist still looking. Nobody there. They just have to isolate and kill one of the members of OSIRIS, whether it's Brios or whether it's Twist. It doesn't necessarily matter, but it will be Brios who is down but not finished. And that leaves solely Twist here as Poison starts to push in from the horizontal. Twist waits with the shotgun in ambush. Might actually secure the down and does. No, he doesn't. Oh, no, he does. Surfigo is down. The plant coming in for Poison. Poison's right there. And there's a standoff, if ever there was one, but Twist holds a steely nerve and gets the kill and drops a tactical crouch on the end of it as well before going for the plant.
Outstanding play from Twist. He plays close contact because he knows they're not going to walk in far. They're not going to be able to go all that way of, walking library or walking kitchen hall, then walking through West Main to try and deke him from the further doorway. They're not going to come from fireplace side. They have to push him right where he's ready for it, and they're not zoning far enough away. They're playing off that hatch drop, and yes, it was a great round from SBL to try and come back. Again, another example of how they're constantly staying gun up and anticipating these re-aggressions from OSIRIS. But what can you do when Twist is floating? What can you do when he's just shooting better than you today, and he's playing it so smartly? Because again, he knows you're low on time. That's one of the weaknesses of this SBL attack. Time and time again, they're taking way too long, and in that case, against a player as smart as Twist, you're not getting away with that because he knows how he can play it when you have limited options. He's going to cross everything out and then only account for that which you can actually get done. He's a smart player, and he played it perfectly in that scenario.
Well, let's hope then that, the time is maybe not as huge of an influence on the SBL defense as it is on the offense. The side swap having happened here. So OSIRIS, we're going to see them on the attack, and they're a strong attacking team. We know it. We looked at their stats earlier. I mean, they're no joke here. But SBL plays, I think, in a manner that lends themselves to a relatively strong and coordinated defense. You got Poison leadership there helping position different players in places that they need to be. So even though we're sitting in a 4-2 score line at the side swap, do not be counting your chickens before they're hatched here if you're sitting on the OSIRIS side of things. SBL still has a long road to work, but they can certainly make that road work for them. And looking now at the defensive setup, by the way, here, Happy, it's pretty bog standard. Good addition of the castle in here as well. Rice with some intel for them. On the other side, obviously going to try and clear as much of that util as they can. They've got all the tools they need for an IQ and the Rocheros in particular, as Twist just walks up, and we've seen Twist get very aggressive with Ash in the past.
Trying to establish as much presence as quickly as he possibly can, and this is that OSIRIS attack. This is what we've been missing out on all game long from SBL. They're not nearly as proactive. This is a kitchen attack, and you've already established dominance over Office, threatening the player inside of Master this early on in the round, and Brios is able to get an opening kill for his squad. The Gridlock, not the likeliest of operators, but again, that's the strength of this OSIRIS team. Anybody and their mother can entry on this roster, and Brios is going to get another one. Sneeze even pitches in for more. Yes, there's a response from Surf, but there's a plant going down within the first half of the round, and nobody in the world is stopping center. Not even his meddling brother, not even Nick, who's also still up for SBL. Surf trying to retake inside of Office for the time being, as that vertical is going to be important to hold, but they're not holding this diffuser so actively. All of a sudden, OSIRIS have turned into the most patient team in the world, and they are playing these angles as slowly as they possibly can, keeping themselves alive for as long as possible. Nick trying to challenge one of the west main window, and all that they're doing is wasting this time. Yes, he gets the kill, but now he only has 7 seconds to hop on the case, and he has 0 presence inside the bomb site. OSIRIS have so easily won this round that it is almost as though it barely even had to happen. They just took control of the map like they own the place.
Yeah, they did. And SBL just not reacting well to what Osiris is doing right now. You really start to get that same vibe you did from the first match that we saw X Osiris in, where they kind of are just grabbing the initiative at the very start and they're not surrendering it come hell or high water. And I thought that
Defenders,
maybe
protect your
SBL
bombs from
Happy
being
was going to be a
used by
team
attackers.
that could regain that initiative. They would know when to get aggressive versus when to stay defensive. But as you were kind of mentioning,
Attackers have
on that
located a
last
bomb.
round, it really felt like they were rooted in place at times. Like they were not going anywhere. They were just holding their defensive positions and praying that they would get gunfights set up. Meanwhile, Osiris is just slamming in, defender after defender, shutting them down and putting SBL in a position where they simply can't play out. And it's definitely frustrating if you're looking at it from the SBL perspective. But for Osiris, I think it's got to be a reaffirmation of that aggressive tactics, right? Like you can have Twist run up the library hallway. You can, basically launch a deep strike at the very start of the round, and teams are not going to be expecting or prepared for that.
Well, clearly SBL weren't doing their homework last map, because that's something that we kind of come to expect from Osiris. Although something like that, you really can't expect it that much. But Osiris, they're not afraid. They see space, they take space. There's no need to waste time. And honestly, I like that kind of mantra. Until SBL start punishing them for taking space that quickly, or running any operators that can really do that effectively, then they will continue to get away with it. And Sneeze this time, taking space right outside the bomb site, though he has been spotted out in his endeavors, and so not going to be as effective as his quick entry upstairs last time. And Asian now playing more actively over towards office, trying to prevent anybody from catching them off guard and trying to play off the info that his teammates have gathered. So good job to SBL to try and neuter that aggressiveness, but it's only going to last for a time, and Osiris will be back and more aggressive than ever.
Yeah, Surf is just falling back right there from that defensive position because it's becoming less and less tenable as time goes by. A lot of this utility coming into play here for the side of Osiris there, Osiris there, using those Rotero drones to great effect. An ugly challenge right there from Twist. He will lose, and that maybe puts a little bit of step in the spine here of Team SBL. Fortunately, it's only momentary. Nick gets caught looking by Brios, and that sort of resets the boards here with about 1 minute and 20 seconds left. I mean, you can feel the nature of this defense, right? Sort of staving the members of Osiris off right at the jaws. That early pick there on Twist, the double coverage that you have coming off of Surf, you're forcing them to play in uncomfortable positions. And Rice capitalizes on that right there. Happy picks himself up another kill and makes this a 3v4.
SBL are doing so much more to make Osiris feel threatened in these positions. Even if it is just as simple as saying Nick killed someone who tried to push him, it goes a long way. Center unfortunately disconnects, but this wasn't the greatest of rounds for Osiris anyways, so I'll just take the time in this case, talk things over, see what you want to do better next round, and give Center more time to reconnect, so hopefully we may not need to fully rehost. For now, though, his brother Surf still very much content all the way upstairs, and the attack very much not, as Osiris still with a lot of space yet to make up. Haven't picked up the diffuser once again, and Rice has picked up a kill on the BJL, so it's just left Brios. A solid round from him as he's gotten his second, but he'll end with that, and Rice will be the one to do it. SBL, their first defensive round win comes at a very important time as they keep Osiris off of match point.
Yeah, SBL, they're punching back in a big way, right? Like that's exactly what they needed to do on that round. They needed to strike back against Osiris and put a little slow on the roll. They still got to get 2 more rounds under their belt after that, but at least for a moment, they have stemmed the bleeding somewhat from this, hyper-focused Osiris attack. That, however, though, I don't think is going to deter Osiris at all. Like, I genuinely think they're gonna hop right back into it as soon as this break is over. They'll be right back at peak aggression, and just continuing to try and catch SBL on the back foot. They only need to do it twice, in order for
Mhm.
them to be exactly where they want to be at the end of this.
You say it like that, maybe it's not the hardest thing in the world, right? You only need a couple more round wins. But Osiris, that was a very rough round around the edges for them. From the moment that got started, we could tell it was something they haven't really had to deal with yet, which is you're making an aggressive play. Twist walks very far forward, trying to take a lot of control. And not only does it fail, but no one's there to trade him. At the very least, when we were watching them play against Outlast, they were at least able to trade stuff like that. But SBL weren't giving them those opportunities back in.
Right.
It's the same way things went on attack. SBL get the opening kill, and they're so much better at playing the rest of the round because now they know to expect these consistent aggressive plays from Osiris, and they just need to
Yeah.
keep their guns up just like they were doing on the attack. But it's
Attackers
even
need to
easier on
locate and
defense because you know eventually they're going to have to walk into you. So you can kind of limit the possibilities. Whereas on on attack, you know, you could get jumped at from around any corner, so it's a little harder maybe to anticipate certain things. But that's not a very easy to replicate scenario. Again, like I said before, SBL great when they get that first kill. However, you're playing Osiris. Anyone on this team can be that opener, and you have to be prepared for all of it in order to really find yourself in an advantage early on.
Sure, and I mean a very valid analysis right there, and something I think that Team SBL has, I think, picked up a little bit on the aggressive playstyle of Osiris. But you know, it's easy for us, I think, to sit here and be like, oh, they just have to stop that aggression. In reality, obviously, the aggression is going to be a lot harder to stop here, as Osiris gets going. Like you said, you know, any given member of Osiris can be the next hot gunner in these matchups, and Team SBL, I mean, they have that potential too. They can all pop off, but it does not feel as effective or as prominent as what we see coming out of Osiris. Meanwhile, Brios here on the top floor just doing a little bit of work with those clutch drones, hacking the Arumi Surya gates. Love to see it. It's a great play. Asian, though, will find the first kill. There's a little bit of aggression going the opposite way. That's BJL down, so they'll lose the Iana. Is not a great start to the effort here as Sneeze drops even lower, looking to see if there's a soft entry through the garage. There is not. Poison now holding down on the bomb site or just off the bomb site there in connector. Reloading and waits, and a good defensive position in general from the members of Team SBL here. Happy they are in a good place to cover one another and to cover pretty much every major approach angle, and it's paying off because Rice will swing and get Twist, and then Sneeze goes down as well.
Clean sweep once they get that opener. What can Osiris do? They're kind of trapped in rough spots. Gilly Bob, 5684. Does get one kill, and that's his brother, so those pistol shots after the death meant something. I'm not going to say that was some safety shots. That was sending a message, and he's probably screaming down the hallway at his brother right now. It's a la Canadian. I'm so much better than you. But his team has lost yet another. His team has lost yet another round, so I think he yeah. And there goes Surf. Don't make me make a visit to your room. I mean, hey, whoever loses this game is going to have the most insane insults to be on the other end of, especially if it's center, because SBL are making a comeback happen.
SBL are trying to make a comeback happen for sure. I mean, 2 solid wins under their belt here as they'll go down to Snowmobile Garage. You know, this is a solid site. A lot of it relies on how you want to play it out. They've got some tools to do it. Interesting that they haven't really gone for a dedicated hard breacher here. They do have Rice on the mute. That's the closest thing they're going to get. Poison as well coming out here on the Echo is an interesting choice to me because we've seen some Echo tonight in our matches. It has not been a productive operator. Hopefully there is an opportunity here for Poison to essentially show us how it's done. The rest of the lineup shouldn't shock anyone. It's a pretty standard defensive lineup. One of the most interesting things, though, I think I will note is they are running the Solus against Osiris, which Solus is obviously a spectacular operator, one of the strongest in the game, but she's not particularly well suited to counter most of what this team is bringing here, as they will get that garage door open, and they will succeed in the first round.
SBL already being threatened in a lot of different places very early on. Nothing new for them this game, and they've already started to adjust to it quite well, so I'd imagine more of the same in terms of being prepared for some of this. However, it's a basement defense. You've got Nick all the way up on that second floor. Once OSIRIS spot him out, if they do, I have to imagine they will be very quick in attempting to dispatch of him, as they are in most cases when they spot anybody that they think could be somewhat isolated. Same goes for Rice lying down here, but they've got a lot of roamers to help them, and they may be getting tunnel vision. They might have tried to go after one, but instead it's Asian to take the opening kill. Down goes Twist. So no more R4C, at least not for him. BJL still standing to trying to push that player that we were watching earlier inside a bar. Twist drops from the game. Probably going to be back soon, at least I hope. But for now, that's not so important. What is important is that Asians just got another kill. Down goes Sneeze, and these entries from Osiris not looking nearly as good as they have through the rest of the day. Good trade back, though, from Center.
Yeah, good trade there as Sneeze is leaving as well, so I'm assuming we might be transitioning here into a rehost. Slowly but surely, the members of Team SBL are cutting down the options of the Osiris players and trying to force them into a situation that is only beneficial to SBL. They've got long sight lines, they've still got gadgets up. They haven't actually lost anybody, or they've just lost Rice so far here, so they still have plenty of tools to play with in the kit as BJL begins to approach here to Coke Room. Asian is waiting.
Oh my.
We'll get BJL down. There's still obviously another matter. Asian with the long bomb tries to find Center as well, but Center will survive, creeping upstairs instead. But it feels a bit vain at the moment. I don't know that they're going to be able to find the answer that they seek up here and turn this around. Brios, though, will secure at least one kill. Nick immediately trading it back. And now everything on the back here of Center as the conclusion of this round comes about. Out goes the flash grenade, but obviously Nick has the warden glasses. Is he going to be caught by surprise? The second flash will not work, and instead it's Nick who swings in and gets the headshot.
Very clean ending of that round from Nick. And a good round win for SBL. They've made it 3 in a row now. Osiris, again, I said it earlier on in that round, their entries just look flat. And in that case, they tried to, it felt like they were trying to isolate one player, and then they got caught off guard by the presence of the player in kitchen, maybe tunnel visioning. Maybe they were caught off guard by the fact that the entire map was being held all at once. Neither of us were ready for the cameras there.
No,
But
not at all. I was leaning back. I was listening. I was in class. I was taking notes. You know, I'm listening to the breakdown, and then just, oh my god, I got my shirt unbuttoned because it's high in here. I'm not presentable.
I was like right up here. They were pulling up to me on the camera, like,
oh.
"Hey, what's up, guys? Talking about the game." Like,
No,
But
you were
yeah, so-
getting into the analysis. That's fine. No,
I mean,
you know,
it's basically just sorry. I was just gonna say that all I was saying was Osiris are not entering as well as we saw them entering before, and that is a big problem because we saw in round 1 and we saw all of last map. See space, take space. That's all there is to it. But I guess they're just not getting thorough enough intel, and SBL are kind of punishing that. They had a player up on the second floor, and Osiris were trying to get right to the heart of the problem in bar, but they also had a player in dining, and they just didn't. They tried to like circumvent everybody that they definitely couldn't, given the angles that were set up. A great plan from SBL. Now we're tied, so that's something.
it is. I mean, it's a great effort for SBL to come back into this, and I think you hit the nail on the head right there. I do think part of it has been kind of an intel lack, like an intel loss. And this is something that sometimes happens, right, with teams that like to play very aggressively. Is it's not that they're incapable of droning. That's not what I'm saying. And obviously, Osiris, they're very talented. They know what to do. But you kind of get in a pattern or an idea where you're like, hey, like, we don't need to worry that much about it. We know where they're going to be holding. You just need to get in there with a gun and get some kills. And I think that is biting them a little bit here, like you said. I think SBL has done a pretty good job of reading that and is responding accordingly. I mean, I'm genuinely happy to see these two teams like going back and forth at it. I was a bit worried that OSIRIS was going to take this one and just sort of run it into the house, but it's not happening. SBL is there's too much talent, there's too much steel in that roster for them to just kind of let this one walk away from them, and they're proving that round after round after round here, of just really pushing back on OSIRIS, absorbing attacks, absorbing aggression, and turning it back around on them.
And that's all you really can do against a team like that, right? And OSIRIS they thrive so much when they're winning individual fights. They thrive so much when it's just the right day for them to get active on. And unfortunately, it was the right day at the start of the day. We'll say that much. But their attacks have been a little bit, again, I'll say it again, flat so far this half. However, I do want to talk about what SBL have been doing to adjust, which has just kind of been changing on a round-to-round basis, right? You saw in that first round where they really started to get a win, they just were successful in winning one opening engagement, but it didn't feel like they were doing too much differently, right? That still felt like a situation where OSIRIS had the upper hand for a time being. But since then, they've been trying to expand further and further away from the reaches of the bomb site, and they've been doing better for it. They've been getting rewarded by moving pretty far out and then playing kind of far from each other, but also playing to cover each other's entries, making sure there are no gaps in their setups. A lot of cover in that last round that we saw, what with Asian playing inside of dining to cover for anyone trying to walk through fireplace, and the bar player not getting pushed on because they had the man upstairs who could come down and play Ivy stairs. He could play fireplace, and it was just so much adaptation based on the entries that where OSIRIS chose to go, SBL could rotate their attack accordingly, or rotate their defense accordingly to adjust to how the attack was looking early on, and just need to kind of try and play into that and then switch things up when they're, they make an early entry somewhere and then catch that off guard. I don't know, but just maybe that would be what works. I don't, just spitballing here.
Yeah, it's an interesting dilemma, I think, that OSIRIS is being faced with right now, because the responsiveness of the SBL defense has been pretty good. You're almost looking for something that can kind of jar the SBL side, and I don't know where that's necessarily going to come from, right? Whether you've got to get an early kill, which was something that obviously was very beneficial for OSIRIS in a lot of the rounds that we saw them in, or you gotta try and be a little bit more predictive about how you clear out these defensive strong points, or whatever it is that's going to kind of unlock this for them. I mean, I think it's also worth pointing out what a sort of tonal shift and a playstyle shift this has to be for both these teams, right? Because you came from the game that was just being played before this one, where SBL was fighting these really slow, kind of dogged rounds where everything kicked off in the last like 30 seconds. And now you're playing this OSIRIS team who do not hesitate to take early round engagements, right? There is no caginess here. As we drop back in, speaking of 30-second engagements, we are at 30 seconds here. A little confused about what we're seeing exactly, so
prep phase.
Just gonna let this one continue. Oh, prep phase. Okay,
yeah.
Good. I was like, oh my god, I was like, are they all dead? And then I was like, wait a second, no, that's.
It's like, oh, are we play-by-play in the prep phase? What? Like, what's going on? Did I not get the memo? Or are we in the middle? No, we are where I thought we were. This is also great for us because we get to still have the stats up, so we can see how everyone's been doing across the whole scoreboard. We can see that for SBL, it's a much more even performance than last game was. Poison's still negative, but he's been pitching in a lot more, only 5 and 7. Last map, he was like 3 and 11, just going into that last round, I believe. Surf and Nick both pitching in quite a lot. Asian has been stepping it up. Nick was also a slow performer last map, and Rice is even. So overall, in terms of individually, pound for pound, SBL have been outplaying OSIRIS, just in terms of looking solely at the KDs, which isn't really how that should go, but it's what I'm gonna do now, because I don't know.
That's fine, and you know, as much as I was, by the way, as much as I was talking about the whiplash that SBL must be feeling, Osiris must be feeling some whiplash too, right? Because they got very much in this idea that they could kind of push around their opponents when they were attacking, and SBL has kind of been like, no, you can't do that. We're gonna stop you from doing that. So they're both really having to kind of like, hey, like wake up, especially as these rounds. Guess what is that shot, by the way? Well done, sir.
Oh no, he disconnected. He definitely, like, there's no way that's what Sneeze meant to do there. I have no idea what just happened. But something's just gone terribly wrong, because Sneeze is not a bad player. He would not un-ADS and stand out in the open, very fully exposed to an angle he just challenged. So that is unlucky. Unfortunately, we can't, like, rehost or do anything, and he hasn't said anything in chat, so as far as I know, that was what he meant to do, but I can't imagine it was. Still, though, an opening pick to SBL. I've been talking all day about how much that helps them, but BJL is able to trade that back, so we're actually back.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes there for a second, but I mean, every once in a while you kind of get caught up. I'll be honest, I mean, my eyes are nothing, and I'm getting it through a feed, so I'm seeing it differently, but I didn't even see the shot that Surf had. But after the first one came out, you would think he would have kind of max pained his way out of the way. BJL, by the way, they're picking up a kill onto Rice, so that'll keep it out of 4-3 here. Still in favor of Osiris, but they've got a lot more work to do. The SBL defensive perimeter, though, is getting whittled down right here. They've got less and less options as this is coming to its conclusion. They still have top floor control, which is kind of what they need. They're going to make Osiris work for every inch of this, but you've lost Poison. Asian comes back in, Surf goes down. It's just Asian. Not enough bodies, not enough guns. An unsurprising end, perhaps, to that round, given the way things were trending.
Yeah, maybe Osiris needed that break. Maybe there was something wrong with the games of, I think it was Twist and Center who left the lobby last round, but I can't say for sure. But maybe that would explain part of it, because that is a big difference in the team that we were watching that round compared to the team that we were watching up until that point. And I think it is just kind of a matter of that site is a pretty good one for Osiris when attacking. They only lost it once because Twist lost an uncharacteristic gunfight that he probably should have won. And in that case, it's kind of just because what we said SBL were doing so well, especially in round 10, they're not really able to do so much on that kind of bomb site. You can't spread out so much. There aren't so many ways to control a lot of the map. And there's only so many ways you can creatively extend off the bomb site until you're just going way too far and giving away free picks.
I mean, we're kind of in the meat of it here now.
In that case,
it's the do or die time here for SBL if they want to get that promotion. Again, unlike our first two matches, there is a genuine, you know, thing on the line here. It is a promotion match. You want to win this. I know that Osiris, I know that SBL, both of them would like to have the opportunity to not have to play any more games, right? To just punch their ticket right now. And this is a challenge here for SBL. I think their fate is entirely in their hands. How they handle the opening, let's say, minute and a half of this round is going to be incredibly critical for whether or not they can pull this off. It's an interesting setup already, by the way, from Osiris, kind of going for the low ground attack, right? Almost like they're trying to pinch this from two sides, but they're not doing it horizontally, they're doing it vertically. And certainly an interesting matter of them attacking it. They're not putting a lot of pressure on the library player here, Happy, which I think is interesting as well, because they're going to leave that gun up. I mean, they're just leaving Surf here with firepower, and these power positions on the top floor, they're not in a good spot to actively challenge them.
This is something that's kind of been growing in popularity just a little bit. So, okay, sorry. My internet is kind of not really working right now, but Brios has just got 2 kills, so I guess it works out. He jumps in the window and he kills 2 people. That is an outstanding play from him. They're ready for this re-aggression from Asian, and now it's Osiris, who are constantly ready for everything that SBL are trying to pull out of their hat just to bring this round back from the depths. Poison is going to try, though. There's no sense in giving up now, and the Frost is absolutely not doing so. But he's been shot at from behind, and BJL's got his last teammate dead to rights. And so it is, in fact, OSIRIS who win after a little bit of a mental reset after the game needs to be reset for a couple different players. They do manage to pull it out in regulation. They are your first team qualified for the XGS Spring Burst Playoffs. And congratulations to them. It only took 2 maps in 1 night to do it.
I'll be honest with you right there. That's a wild conclusion to that one. You almost felt, I mean, truth be told, it just outplayed. On that final round in particular, genuinely outplayed. The way that they executed that, I said, hey, look, they're leaving the library player alone. They're going for a more elaborate setup. And then the minute I said that, they made their move on the library player, and it was really well executed. The double firebolts in, you trap the Doc in the pattern where he's trying to heal himself, and Brios just jumps in through the window, gets that kill for free, and probably before Surf can even shout the warning, you ping the player who's sitting out on the balcony as well, and suddenly those power positions are gone. You really shouldn't be able to get by with that. But I mean, when OSIRIS wants to go hard, they go hard.
Yeah, and that's kind of it feels like in the mantra of the day. OSIRIS have won a lot of rounds very dominantly and lost a lot of rounds very dominantly. They will die on the hill of their aggression. In this case, it's not enough to kill them quite yet. They are still very much alive on said hill. And again, they are more alive than everybody else as they have qualified through to the XGS Spring Burst Playoffs. A very deserved congratulations to them. And well, in that last round, I finally got to see it because my internet lagged when Brios made that one entry. But he just kind of jumps in the window and kills too. I managed to say it correctly, even though I didn't get to watch it. And I think you kind of pointed out that, when you thought they were going to go for a very bottom-sided take, and then they go out to library out of nowhere. That's kind of, I don't want to say that I said they should do that, but I did say, like, try and maybe like fake an entry somewhere and then go somewhere else and surprise them by the speed at which you get that done. I do think that a good amount of SBL were prepared for what was coming, but again, much like the first attacking round that OSIRIS had today, in the last one, it was just kind of a very strange timing, and they weren't ready for Brios when he came in. They were ready eventually for what he was going to do, but a solo entry and through that window at that point in the round,
completely unexpected.
You'd have to be crazy to do that. Well, Brios is fortunately a very good kind of crazy.
Brios is the good kind of crazy, at least in that one. Let's take a look at our updated bracket now here for Group A. You've got OSIRIS punching their ticket through here, taking out Outlast and SBL. And then you have Temper White losing a very close one to SBL. So they're set up for an elimination match with Outlast. That should be a pretty good one. I think Temper White has a lot more in the tank, Happy, than we certainly initially gave them credit for, and perhaps a lot more than other people have given them credit for too.
Yeah, I mean, very new team in OSIRIS getting through the playoffs. That's incredibly exciting to see. And, well, I'll be honest, I asked Twist was streaming earlier tonight, and I was like, hey, is there anything you want me to say about the team? I wasn't going to say this, but considering they just made the playoffs, I feel like it's, like, worth noting. They haven't even scrimmed yet. They aren't even really scrimming that consistently. They're just talented. They're just that good. They play together. Maybe they play some ranked. I know he was playing ranked with some of his teammates just before. He was playing with Brios, and he was playing with one other, but I forget who it was. I think it was Sneeze. I don't know, though. But, yeah. They're not really scrimming that consistently yet. They haven't even really gotten started. But clearly, if today's any indication, this is a roster that has a very high ceiling. There's a ton of potential here. So I do hope they start to get those scrims together, start playing as a full 5-stack, even with BJL in as a sub too, by the way. They're supposed to have Kobe, who's a great player in his own right. They had BJL standing in tonight, and even with that, they're still able to go far. As a very exciting team, to say the least. Once they start scrimming, it could be over for the rest of the league.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna do it there for the first day of the Spring Burst play here at the Xenon Gaming Series. I've been Corbeck. Alongside me has been Happy. Thank you all so much for tuning in. There's plenty more action coming here on the XGS. We're just getting started. Some great teams have yet to play. We'll be jumping in tomorrow with the Group B, so it'll be the same setup as today. 3 best of ones, 1 promotional match in there. You can see Bros Without Hose, Coastal Gaming, Team Valkyrie, and Wasted Talent on display tomorrow. That'll start at 7 p.m. EST. But for now, from all of us here at the Xenon Gaming Series, thank you so much for tuning in and have a wonderful evening.
Bomb located by attackers.